Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Friday, July 14th, 2017. Looking at the next few days, there are quite a few fire potential impacts, as you can see from the map. For today, the main concern is a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms across the dark red highlighted area. Those will push into northeastern Nevada this afternoon, and gusty outflow winds are likely in the vicinity of those storms. Then as we move into Saturday and Sunday, the coverage of the storms expands across the Great Basin, and we'll see that storm activity occur across northern Nevada, southern Idaho, and northern Utah this weekend. And again, with these thunderstorms, we will see some gusty outflow winds. Something also to keep in mind is that as we move into Monday, right now the forecast looks like we will see some really gusty winds across western Nevada, and so it's quite significant that we're expecting dry lightning there through Sunday with gusty winds on Monday. We have also updated the Fuels and Fire Behavior Advisory. Portions of southeastern Utah have been removed for that as ERCs have dropped with recent moisture. Of course, across the remainder of the Fuel Behavior Advisory area, we are seeing grass loading that's at 200 to 300% of normal. There is significant continuity in annual grasses. ERCs are well above normal, and the live fuel moisture is near to below normal. So all these combine for some pretty dangerous conditions, and definitely be aware of this fuel behavior advisory for the Great Basin. Over the past 24 hours, there was a fair amount of precipitation across the southern and southeastern portions of the Great Basin, and quite a bit of lightning. This map on the right shows those areas of lightning, and much of the area did see lightning. Of note is this lightning up across the northern part of the Great Basin, where not a lot of precipitation was observed, so we did have some dry lightning across the Great Basin over the past 24 hours. Looking at our fire activity, there are quite a few fires across the Great Basin, pretty big. We have 5 team fires with 214 ongoing fires and quite a few new starts. Over the past 7 days, precipitation has been the greatest across the southern and southeastern portions of the Great Basin. And looking back at the 30-day precipitation observations, you can see really not much across the western, northwestern parts of the Great Basin, but again, the greatest precipitation amounts across the south. So with those precip amounts across the south, it has had quite an impact on our ERCs. I thought it would be interesting to see how our ERCs have changed over the past week. So this map on the left shows the ERCs that were observed on Monday afternoon, and you can see the really high ERCs across the southeastern portion of the Great Basin. But if you fast forward to yesterday's observations, which are the most current observed values, those ERCs across the south have really dropped, and you can see those greens and yellows on the map. So just a few days of cooler, wetter weather have brought the ERCs down pretty significantly across the southeastern part of the Great Basin. Live fuel moisture is continuing to drop across the area, most notably across the northwest where it has been drier. You can see this balanced rock observation. Those ERCs are not the ERCs. The fuel moisture is still a little bit above normal, but it is trending downwards with the drier and hotter weather. It is interesting to look at this Horse Hollow site in southwestern Utah. You can see that while fuel moisture has been dropping, it's really plateaued over the past couple of weeks with that increase in moisture. The satellite this morning shows some moisture lingering underneath the ridge, most notably across northeastern Nevada, and that is a moisture that is going to bring us the lightning over the next couple of days. So for this afternoon, high pressure in place across the Great Basin. Some moisture is trapped underneath that ridge, and so we are concerned about the potential for some dry lightning across northeastern Nevada this afternoon. If we look at that in a little more detail, you can see that many locations in the Great Basin are expected to see those showers and thunderstorms. But again, the area of greatest concern is this corner of northeastern Nevada where there is the most potential for those dry storms. And then as we move into Saturday, that ridge starts to break down a bit. We could see some moisture moving into northern Nevada, southwestern Idaho, and so we've highlighted those areas out of concern for dry lightning potential across that portion of the Great Basin. And again, looking in more detail, you can see the areas expected to see the precipitation tomorrow, the convection tomorrow afternoon. And again, relatively dry across the area. You can see those RH values in the mid-teens, low 20s across portions of our area. Moving into Sunday, you can see that drier air beginning to approach the Great Basin, just on our doorstep really. And before that makes it here, there is still some lingering moisture that will bring the threat of more dry lightning to the area. You can see from our fire potential map here on the right, a pretty large area highlighted for that lightning risk on Sunday afternoon. And again, looking at that in more detail, you can see quite a few areas. We'll see those afternoon thunderstorms pop up. But again, the area for greatest potential with those storms is across the northeastern part of the Great Basin. Looking at precipitation accumulations over the next 3 days, it's really the eastern third of the Great Basin that will see those the good precipitation accumulation. And so that's why it's really the western part of our area that we're highlighting for the dry lightning potential through Sunday. As we move into Monday, that dry air begins to punch into the western part of the Great Basin. And you can see we are highlighting these portions of Nevada here for the wind threat. So again, it's quite significant that we are forecasting dry lightning for the next 3 days across portions of Nevada, and then winds will pick up on Monday across that area. As we move into Tuesday, the picture doesn't change too much. We still have some pretty dry and windy conditions across the western part of the Great Basin, some moisture still across the southeastern part of the area. And as we move into Wednesday, some of that moisture starts to make its way northward into central Utah, central Nevada. And on Thursday, that trend continues with the moisture pushing the dry air back out of the Great Basin. Over the next 7 days, some pretty significant precipitation forecast across southeastern Utah. You can see those really impressive forecast numbers of 1.3, 1.7 inches across Utah. So really quite wet across the southeast. It looks like the monsoon will return with a vengeance and really have an impact across the southeastern part of the area. Finally, looking at the 8 to 14 day outlook, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across much of Nevada, Idaho, and portions of Utah and the Arizona Strip, with below normal temperatures elsewhere, and above normal precipitation across southern Nevada, southern Utah, and the Arizona Strip. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thanks.